and his name is Bak Jeongyang. Now, we looked him up. He was the first ambassador to the United States.
What?
Hi everyone, this is Mark Peterson with the Frog Outside the Well Research Center with my mentor.
I like to be called that.
Yeah, I used to be his mentor. Now he's my mentor. Everyone, hi Chad, who got me started in YouTube. And I thought it'd be fun today, Chad, for you and me to talk about this.
Very cool.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
And the calligraphy is really nice.
I love how, it's extremely well written.
Yeah.
And it's very smooth, and it looks old because it's got some cracks in it, but the calligraphy is well maintained.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And this style of blue is cobalt.
Okay.
And it was the late Ming and Qing dynasty style that the Koreans picked up for the Joseon dynasty.
Okay.
This white ware with blue writing on it.
Yeah.
And the blue writing was highly prized, and it turns out it's cobalt. And as I understand it, it could only come out of Afghanistan.
Really?
Yeah. The trade was just terrific to get out of China to get
That's really
cobalt.
cool.
Yeah. So for someone to do this is an expense. Not very many people would have a thing like this.
Okay.
Well, so I got it, and I knew generally what it was, and for several years in my home, I had it displayed on our display shelf because I thought it was pretty.
Yeah.
Then I started thinking about it, and it was a little creepy.
Yeah.
Because if you read here on the two edges, it says exactly the same thing. Chosun, Guk, the country of Korea. Chung Puin is a noblewoman of the Yangju Cho family epitaph. This is a funerary document. And it was not out on the stone outside the tomb. It's buried with her.
Wow. So it's not a headstone. It's actually with her.
Yes. It's with the coffin.
Yeah.
And the reason is years go by, there are floods and landslides and coffins and bones can roll out.
Yeah.
And this is so you always identify this is a precious person. So in a sense, it's kind of creepy because it was with the body for a while. So now look how it's cracked here.
Right.
I think what happened is when they moved the tomb for a highway or some construction, they're always going into the hillsides and destroying tombs.
Right.
The shovel hit it right here.
Wow.
And cracked it this way. But you can see how it cracked better. Maybe you can see on the back.
Right. I think you can actually see better on the back. So it looks like it completely broke.
Yeah, it broke away completely, which is maybe why it ended up in the antique shop.
Yeah. Because
somebody may have thought, well, it's worthless, and they threw it away.
And
somebody said, hey, I can glue this. And I've had this for years, and it's glued together really, really well. I don't know what kind of glue they had, but this was some kind of really super glue.
Yeah.
Well, now, who is it? This is Madame Cho.
Okay.
And it starts off by listing her husband. Her husband is a senior, rank 2, very high, Minister of Finance.
Wow.
Of the Panampok lineage. And Panampok is very noble. A lot of people pass exams in the Panampok. They're one of the top 5. We hear of Miryangpak, but Panampok had more people pass the exam than Miryangpak.
Oh, okay.
It's a very powerful lineage group. And his name is Bak Jeongyang. Now, we looked him up. He was the first ambassador to the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so, very high prestige. Later, he was Minister of Finance, which is higher than being ambassador.
Yeah.
And then it says he married a noblewoman of the Yangju Cho family, whose father was a county magistrate by the name of Cho Byung-wee.
Okay.
Well, I looked him up. Not a happy story.
Really?
Yeah. As I was looking him up, I saw something about the amhaeng eosa, the secret inspectors. He got busted.
Oh no.
By the secret inspectors. And I wasn't quite sure what it was all about. So I called on Professor Sheen. We'll talk to Professor Sheen here in a minute. He'll tell us more about it.
Okay.
But the next thing I saw was he was sentenced to 100 lashes and banishment. internal banishment. You know, Korea didn't banish people outside of Korea. You banished to the borderlands, the sea coasts and the mountains, the faraway places.
Yeah.
And the guy was banished.
Wow.
Yeah. And 100 lashes, they're light whip, medium whip, and the heavy whip. 100 lashes of heavy whip will kill you. You can't take 100 beatings.
Yeah.
And then I saw it said a thing with the word atone or redemption or compensation. It turns out he paid a, what do you call it, bail. He paid bail so that he didn't have to get beaten.
Oh.
And so he paid his way out of the beating, but he was still banished to a place in Chollado, in the mountains of Chollado. Yeah. So we'll find out more about where he was banished later on. And then it has her birth date, 1841.
Okay.
And it has her death date, 1892.
Okay.
And then it has her, she died in January 2nd, but was buried January 26th. So it took 24 days to arrange the burial. And it says she was buried in Suwon, in Hyeongsokmyeon, Imokdong. And I looked that up, and there's a lot of construction. It's the north side of Suwon.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. And the hilly side over here has been cut away with highways and other road construction. So that's probably how this thing got injured, got damaged, and ended up in the market.
Okay.
Then it says her son is named Sung-gil, and he married a woman of the Hansan E family.
Okay.
And the daughter of Lee Sung-yuk.
Okay.
And I looked him up and I couldn't find anything about him.
Okay.
But the son passed the Munhwa exam.
Oh.
And served in the Kyujanggak, the Royal Library, and was a member of the Royal Secretariat.
Wow.
To sit in front of the king and take notes on what the king says. And he died at age 20. He did all of this.
Holy smokes.
His father, the ambassador, also passed the exam, the Munhwa exam.
Wow.
And so he passed the Munhwa and then died young. And then it says that right here. It says, died without heir.
So he's never had a child.
Never had a child. And then it says the older daughter married a Young-il Chung person by the name of Chung Un-chul, who currently serves as Champong. Champong is the lowest rank. It's the lowest rank. There's a 9 rank, and there's an A and a B within each rank. He's a 9B.
Okay.
But he's on the path to...
He's starting out.
He's starting out.
Yeah.
And I looked up his ancestry, and his father and grandfather both passed exams.
Wow.
He did not, but his grandfather and his father and grandfather did. And then the second daughter married a person of the Chenui E family by the name of Imulo.
Okay.
And Imulo never passed an exam, but he comes from the Chenui E lineage, which passed a lot of exams.
Oh, okay.
And his ancestry of this ascending 11 generations, 10 of them passed the exam.
Wow.
It's one of the strongest examination lineages in the Chosun dynasty.
Yeah. A very educated family.
Yeah. So that's who these people are.
That's incredible that just from this little tablet here,
all this
we have all this information.
Yeah. Now, there's some things I still don't know. I still got some questions. I wonder how long her father was in banishment.
Yes, so it's a temporary banishment typically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And banishment is almost always temporary. Although it can be long enough that you die in banishment.
Okay.
But I'll ask Professor Sheen what he can help me know about this.
I'm curious to his insight there. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, he'll have some interesting things. So we'll finish here with Chad, and we'll get Professor Sheen on to help us figure out the rest of it.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Interesting, huh?
Very interesting. Okay, let's see.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
다음 기회에는 신 교수님과 같이 할 거예요. 봅시다.